Hey everybody, our text for today is Matthew chapter 5. Can you join me there as we take another study in our exploration of Jesus's great sermon delivered on that mount overlooking the Sea of Galilee? Let's think about where we've been. Jesus has talked about the character of a disciple and the influence of a disciple, the righteousness of a disciple. In our last study, the battles that his disciples must fight. If we're going to belong to the kingdom of heaven, Jesus now shifts our attention to the commitment of a disciple. What do we need to see and understand? Well, Jesus expects his followers to be people of integrity. That's not just something that we talk about. It's something we are. It's who we are to be. Our hearts belong completely to God. Our devotion is to be undivided, given to God. And that's going to set a tone for lots of things, including our relationships. So it's no surprise that Jesus would talk about marriage. After all, marriage was God's idea. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. A man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So let's listen up. Matthew chapter 5, verse 31. It was also said, Jesus shares, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. What is Jesus doing? He's reminding his audience of what Moses had delivered all the way back in Deuteronomy 24. You might go back and explore that some as a class. But sadly, by Jesus' time, there were many teachers who seemed to be much more concerned with loopholes that might open the door to divorce than actually respecting God's institution of marriage. By Jesus' day, there were many that just treated marriage as if it was disposable. You're not happy? You're not happy with your spouse? Just wad up the marriage, throw it away, and move on to someone else. But does that sound like what God had said, the simplicity of his design all the way back there in Genesis chapter 2? That doesn't sound like Genesis 2:24, does it? And so Jesus says, but I say to you. There he is again, speaking as someone with authority. What does he say? But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Now, this isn't the only time that Jesus talked about divorce. We'll go back and explore what he said. For instance, in answer to the Pharisees' question in Matthew chapter 19, is it lawful to divorce one's spouse for any reason? For now, what I want you to see is Jesus quotes what these people had heard, and then, as if he has authority, says, but I say to you. What's going on here? And how does it help us understand the commitment of a disciple? For now, Jesus isn't finished talking about the integrity that his disciples ought to have. Wholehearted, undivided devotion to God is going to produce the fruit of honesty in what we say and how we say it. Notice in verse 33, again you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. What Jesus is doing is probably quoting Leviticus 19, verse 12. You shall not swear by my name falsely, and so profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. But Jesus says in Matthew 5:34, I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is the footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. What is the principle that Jesus is teaching there? Think about that and we'll discuss it together. For now, listen to this straightforward teaching of this one speaking with great authority. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. Jesus has talked with us about wholehearted, undivided devotion to God. We've used the word integrity a couple of times now. So what is this all about? Why does it matter for citizens of the kingdom of heaven? And where might we have the opportunity to practice it this week? Let's dig in together. Thanks so much for being in class. Hope you have a great rest of your class and a great start to this new week.